Hello everyone and welcome back to Jenna Voice. Today's video is going to be all about a product that has kind of literally saved my life the past couple of months. Ever since I got my new job with Utah Symphony Utah Opera, my allotted practice hours have been significantly cut down, and I live in an apartment complex, so I have a lot of neighbors, so it has been difficult for me to practice without bothering people. I can't practice obviously later in the evening or at night or too early in the morning because I'm gonna be bothering people. So I had to find a solution for this in order for me to continue practicing. Honestly, my options were kind of slim. Like I said, I've graduated, so I no longer have access to practice rooms at school. So if I wanted to rent out a space to practice in, that was an option, but I thought that was going to be a very expensive and inconvenient option. My other option would have maybe been to try to soundproof part of my apartment, but that again would have cost a lot of money and probably wouldn't have completely soundproofed any one room. It's a pretty small apartment. I have this kind of living room area, and I have my bedroom and a bathroom. And so my options were pretty limited. And I have windows, like there really isn't a way to completely soundproof any room in this apartment. So I started to do a bit of other research, and I came across the BELTBOX, which is a face mask that has built-in sound muffling material. So it's basically the same sort of materials that you would use to soundproof a room, but it's built into one compact mask. Now, like I said, with the other couple of options I was thinking of doing in order to practice, if I were to rent out a space, I would have had to pay for either every time I went there or a monthly fee, depending on the place that I found, and the other option, soundproofing a room, would have cost a lot of money and materials and time. The BELTBOX cost about $50, which at a glance I thought that was kind of a lot of money. But if you compare that to the fees you'd be paying to rent out a space or the materials to soundproof an entire room, it was considerably more affordable. So I decided to go for it and give it a try. A lot of the kind of reviews that I was finding on the BELTBOX seemed to be more geared towards musical theater trained singers versus opera singers. You know, it's a bit of a different technique of singing, but with opera singing, I feel like we project a lot more than musical theater trained singers. A lot of singers on Broadway are mic'd all the time. In opera, that's a lot more rare to be mic'd. So I was like, I wonder if this will actually work as good as it claims to work for an opera singer versus a musical theater singer. And I was very pleased when I started trying it out. It worked really well. It really muffles the sound to the point where I can hardly hear myself. If I didn't know what I was singing, I would have no way of discerning the words that I was singing. You're relying a lot more on sensation when you use the mask. And I will say it kind of varies depending on how much you want to muffle your sound. For me, I want it as muffled as possible. It comes with a strap that you can slide onto the mask and then over your head to use it hands-free, and that's what I do typically. When I'm using it this way, it will give you the most soundproof effect rather than holding it. If you choose to hold it, you could hold it up to your face. That would work just as well. Or you could hold it at just a bit of a distance, and that will also muffle a bit, but not as much as if it's in complete contact with your face. I'd say one of the biggest downsides to the BELTBOX is that for ladies in particular, if you're wearing makeup while you use it, you're probably gonna rub your makeup off on it. So usually when I use it, I try to have a clean face. But with that being said, it is really easy to clean the BELTBOX. You can put it directly under the sink, under the faucet, and rinse it out with soapy water. So if you don't have time to clean your face, that's totally fine, but you may need to reapply some because it's probably gonna rub some of it off, especially if you're using it in complete contact with your face rather than holding it a little bit of a distance from your face. Like I said, when I wear it with the strap, it is very, very muffling, and a part of the reason for that is because it becomes incredibly airtight, almost to a fault. I'd say when I'm using it strapped to my head, it can be a bit difficult to breathe normally through the mask as I would breathe without anything covering my face while I'm singing. So sometimes, depending on the piece, I'll need to like grab the mask and pull it a bit away from my chin when I need to take a breath, which is kind of annoying, but considering how well it works, I guess that's a small price you have to pay. In addition to not being able to hear yourself, at first I was like, well shoot, I can't hear myself. How do I know how I'm sounding? And that has taught me a lot to rely on physical sensations rather than what I'm perceiving with my ears. And honestly, I think that's been a healthy thing for me, because as singers, it's hard for us not to listen to ourselves and to be extra critical while we're singing. But the truth is, what we hear while we are vocalizing is not what it actually truly sounds like. If you want a more true sound, you should be recording yourself on a camera or just on your phone even, to get a better idea of what you're actually sounding like, instead of trusting your ears while it's happening. It's just not the most accurate feedback. So you rely on that physical sensation, and with that sensation, it kind of gives that feeling of a healthy lean. If any of you have done those vocal exercises through those really tiny like coffee straws, if you know what I'm talking about, if you don't, look them up, but it can really help to focus your vocal pressure, if that makes any sense. I'm absolutely no expert on the vocal straw movement. I've tried it a few times, but I just recognized that similar sensation when I was using the mask, because like I said, it's so airtight, there's very little space for your air to escape. There are a couple of small holes in the mask where air passes through, but it provides that similar sort of, like I said, healthy pressure that the vocal straw exercise does. But with the mask, you have full range of your mouth and your jaw, and you can sing words at the same time. Instead, with a straw, you're stuck in this one position, if that makes sense. So I thought that was kind of an interesting quality feedback that I got with the mask. That might be a positive thing for some of you. Lastly, I really did like the packaging that the mask came in. It came in this very nice box that I used to store it in, but in addition, it comes with this little tie string bag that you can slide it in to keep it clean and safe, and it's good for traveling if you don't want to take the entire large box with it. Like I said, it's really helped me, because I live in an apartment, to be able to have a mask that can muffle my sound and I can practice at full volume at my full level. This can be also a really helpful tool for traveling for auditions, especially ones where you're not gonna have a practice room, and that's happened to me like 2 out of the 3 auditions I've had this season. I really haven't had a place to practice. Having something like this where you can vocalize without needing to rent another room or bother other singers has been really helpful and useful for me. And finally, I had to kind of laugh when I put this on, because I really thought I looked like Bane from Batman. If any of you know who that character is, it's kind of that menacing large shape. Obviously not as intense, and it doesn't go over the top of your head, but I just thought that was funny. So anyway, that is my review on the BELTBOX mask. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you tried the mask and have a different opinion or experience, I'd love to hear about it in the comments down below. And as always, make sure you're subscribed so you can keep up with more videos like this. And I will talk to you all very soon. Bye.